the SEC Freshman of the Year that has big home run power and has done it multiple times with the bases loaded.
4 grand slams this year for the redshirt freshman from Flower Mound, Texas. G. Juarez, the UConn pitching coach, out to chat with Peyton Kinney. Edwards went 0 for 4 last night, with runners in scoring position in all 4 at-bats. A chance at redemption, with her team facing elimination.
And Peyton Kinney likes to throw more on the inner half. When she throws her rise ball, she's very comfortable on her arm side, so inside to right-handed hitters. She saw that first pitch start out on her glove side, a pitch that she, and a side of the plate that she has worked on throughout this season. Outside again, and not going to mix speeds a lot. Change up is not a pitch that she's fully comfortable with, so Tori Edwards can go up to the plate really knowing that she can lock in on one speed and likely looking for the inner half.
Peyton Kinney pitching in her first NCAA tournament as a 5th-year senior. Had the option of whether or not to return this year and told us she's so thankful she did, not just because of the success her team has had, but because of the mentorship of the great G. Juarez, who came out before this at bat for some advice. And now a hitter's count to the most dangerous hitter sometimes in the SEC this season, Tori Edwards.
Well, and I'm wondering if they'll come inside here, the side of the plate that Kinney is much more comfortable throwing to, needing a strike to get back into this count. She has to be careful in the inner half.
Misses, and it's an RBI walk drawn by Tori Edwards. LSU takes the lead.
Great patience at the plate by Tori Edwards, just to see those pitches riding outside of the strike zone. And that is how feared Tori Edwards can be on the inner half of the plate, that she didn't really see it one time in that AB.
Mackenzie Rudity, nobody out, base is still juiced. Takes a strike. Rudity with a hit and a run scored last night against Southeastern Louisiana. Flares this to the left side, won't leave the infield. Garcia puts it away, 1 down.
It's a huge out for Kinney. Just gets some momentum back on her side. Soft contact, easy out for her defense with the bases loaded.
How good has Sierra Daniel been in her sophomore season? The glue that has held this LSU Tiger lineup together. Snapped a 10-game hit streak in the SEC tournament quarterfinal loss to Oklahoma last week. Ahead in the count, 1-0.
Well, she's just had such quality at bats, and it feels like when the games are tight, the game is on the line, whether it's out on defense or at the plate, she steps up and is able to make things happen. She is a gamer, and she has proven that in her sophomore year.
Bases loaded, 2-strike count. Daniel goes down swinging.
That's why that pop-up, that soft contact to Rudity was so important to get the momentum back on UConn's side. 3 swings and misses in this at bat, all 3 with the rise ball, getting Daniel to chase out of the zone with the rise to get that second out with the bases loaded.
Jaden Leno with 2 down. Fly ball behind home. Giving chase is Barber. Oh, what a catch! Glove falls off. Barehanded grab. Now they will likely take another look at this as Beth Tarina is walking to home plate umpire J.C. Bartley, wondering perhaps if it was trapped against the screen. But for now, a ridiculous inning-ending grab behind home.
Yeah, they are going to challenge it. Umpire sending the team back out onto the field, the UConn team, the defense.
Ruling on the field is that the foul ball was a caught foul ball for an out. LSU is challenging that it was a foul ball.
So Matt Dial will go put on the headset. Here's what they'll be looking at in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and it did end up, you see it trapped up against the netting. Her glove ended up coming off, but this should get overturned. Went up against the net and trapped with her body. Good sell, though, by Barber.
Unbelievable sell.
Great read. Glove comes off.
And remember, Barber is getting the start behind home for the first time in this tournament. The usual starting catcher and Big East Player of the Year, Grace Jenkins, getting a break from catching in this game.
Yeah, and this is one of those plays, if you're maybe playing in your backyard, some wiffle ball or sandlot, maybe that is some type of an out, but with official rules, that is not actually going to go down as an out, so this should be overturned.
You mean they're not going to give it to her just because it was an unbelievable play?
I mean, in the backyard, like when you're young and you're playing, absolutely, that's an out, but here I don't think that this is going to go down as an out.
So LSU, if it does get overturned, will have a chance to redeem itself. They have struggled with runners in scoring position, leaving 9 runners on board last night against Southeastern Louisiana. And in this inning, they had the bases loaded and nobody out. So far, have managed just 1 run.
Peyton Kenny has made some great pitches in this inning. After an error, a walk.
Jaden Leno hoping she gets another crack at this. 1 for 6 this season with the bases loaded. A decision has been made. Matt Dial and Christina Drum coming back into the field to play. Here we go.
After further review, the call on the field has been changed. It's a foul ball. We'll have 1 strike on the batter. That's LSU's first challenge.
Good challenge by Beth Tarina. And now just further explanation for UConn head coach Laura Valentino. So we'll reset. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and an 0-1 count to Jaden Leno. Leno, a decorated prep career, including an All-American nod in 2022 and a Player of the Year nod in the state of Georgia the year prior.
It's a great spot right there. Didn't get the call. Whew.
Dominated so far in this tournament. Chopper to short. Going to be a tough play, and Hodge won't make it. Hastings is aboard with their first hit of the 2025 NCAA tournament.
This is so tough to field if you're Avery Hodge, and it's exactly what Lexi Hastings wanted to do with this ball. Drive it into the ground. Avery Hodge was playing pretty deep at shortstop because Lexi Hastings has so many tools. You have to respect the little pop off her bat too. She goes to her chop slap and leads off this inning with a single.
Tying run aboard for Grace Jenkins, who's 21 home runs this year, tied a program record. And it has been a record-setting season at the plate for UConn under second-year hitting coach Mackenzie Keys. Program best in homers, doubles, runs scored, runs batted in, and total bases this year for the Huskies.
And even putting a lot of emphasis not only on doing damage, hitting for some power, but even on their base running. Their motto coming into the season was create chaos 1 through 15 with the 15 hitters on the team. This year they just wanted the entire offense to go crazy and be so tough on defenses that face them.
Hitters count to Jenkins, tying run aboard. And she draws a walk. Now this is an opportunity here for a UConn team that was just 1 for 9 in game 1 with runners on, against a LSU team that is 22-1 this year when scoring in the first inning. But they left the door open, Amanda, leaving the bases loaded, scoring only 1 run in the top of the first.
When you have those opportunities with runners on base in the postseason against good competition, quality pitching, you don't know how many chances you're going to have later on in the game. That's why it's so important to capitalize on those opportunities when you have them. And why, looking already in this game, that LSU had the bases loaded with nobody out, only came away with 1 run in the first inning, just off of a walk RBI from Tori Edwards.
Kaiea Higa into the gap in left center, tracking Leno, and both runners will stay put, 1 down. Relaying some information to the cleanup hitter, Rosie Garcia. A 4-year starter, playing in her first NCAA tournament. And a first-generation college grad as of last week. Laura Valentino got a little bit emotional when talking to us about her senior, Rosie Garcia, what she's been through to get to this point, what she means to this program, and how she has inspired her teammates, her coaches, and those in the UConn athletics community.
A leader on this team and a senior class that has just continued to build and build and build under the leadership of Coach Valentino. And we asked Coach Valentino, what are you going to remember Rosie Garcia for the most? And she said, I'm going to remember her the most for the way that she just simply plays the game. Softball means so much to Rosie Garcia. She had to travel across the country to go and play at UConn. She's from California.
The game has literally given her a chance to do something that no one in her family had ever done before, and that's graduate from a 4-year university. Gratitude was the word that Valentino chose when speaking about Garcia. It was a lively atmosphere for an in-state showdown. Maddox McKee leading things off for LSU. Batting in the 8th spot with Avery Hodge due up in the 9 hole. And the success of the Tigers has, of course, carried on since 2017. This is their 3rd straight 40-win season under Beth Torina. It just hasn't catapulted them back to Oklahoma City the way it has in years past.
In her first year, they made it to the World Series. Had a great pitching staff with Brittany Mack and Rachel Fico, and that team was centered around that pitching staff that could just, oh, they were great pitching and defense, low-scoring games.
Leadoff walk for McKee to start the 2nd.
And the goal, if you play in the SEC, if you're a program like LSU, is, if you're any program really, is to make it to the World Series. And so the fact that they haven't been there since 2017, that is the goal every single year. And so it hurts every single year that you don't get there. And it hurts to lose your first game of a regional. But when you come into a day like today for both UConn and LSU, you have the mindset.
Runner goes, throw down from Barber is in time, but there was obstruction by, I believe, Avery Hodge. And she's going to try and shake it off.
Yeah, you see that Kupal, who's the second baseman covering, is blocking the bag. Right there, she's blocking the front edge of the bag. You can see with her left foot before she has possession of the ball.
Now the umpires are going to get together on this. The call on the field is obstruction. But the UConn defense sort of got together to let Kupal shake things off, which has allowed maybe a second conversation about this call on the field.
Could potentially be 2, maybe about Maddox McKee going in. And I mean, she's going to go hard. Maddox McKee runs the bases very hard, but maybe just bringing everybody together, asking about the positioning of the defender for that obstruction call. Cannot block the leading edge of the bag without possession of the ball, and her left foot was indeed in front of the leading edge. It kind of, you saw that little shove when she was getting up, and then Kupal stands up and looked like she said something to McKee as well. Little chippy.
Seasons are on the line for both teams. UConn won a tournament championship for the first time since 2001 to reach the NCAA tournament. Meanwhile, LSU hosting a regional for the 9th time in the last 10 seasons. But there is an air of angst in Baton Rouge this weekend with the way things started for the Tigers last night. 2-1 to Avery Hodge.
Look, and we do have a double elimination tournament, so you can have a bad game and still be able to respond and fight back. It just makes the road ahead much longer.
3-1 to the starting shortstop. Nearly 40 pitches in the game already for Peyton Kinney. Still nobody out here in the 2nd inning.
She is spinning that rise ball much better today, able to throw it through the zone. Seeing a lot of balls in the air. When you have a rise ball pitcher, it'll lead to a lot of pop-ups. It's high risk, high reward, because it will lead to a lot of pop-ups, a lot of swings and misses and strikeouts, but at the same time, you flirt with the ball even the ballpark, because you do throw more up in the zone, and those pitches have a tendency to leave the ballpark more. It's a great take.
Whoa. Both Kinney and Barber popped up like it was a strikeout, and instead a walk. Back-to-back to start the second inning.
Yeah, so 3 walks. Now the first time through the order for Kinney. And an error, so 4 free passes given to LSU already, not even through 2 innings.
Back to the top of the order for Danica Coffey. G. Juarez out to chat with Peyton Kinney for the second time in as many innings. 3 walks already for Kinney. And now taking on Coffey, who had 1 of 2 base hits in the first inning for LSU.
Peyton Kinney clearly feeling loose out there, talking to her pitching coach, dancing a little bit. 2 runners on base, top of the lineup coming up, but looking like she's still feeling confident. Has loved working with G. Juarez, national champion at Oklahoma, was on staff with them last year where they won the national championship, and then in 2021 she was actually in the circle as the Women's College World Series most outstanding player that year.
This whole team is loose. I mean, we chatted with 6 Huskies a couple of days ago. You would never have known that this was the first tournament appearance for any of them this weekend, but it is. And another stiff test for Kinney here with 2 on and nobody out. Misses again. 2-0. That's a strike on the outside corner, and Kinney is fired up.
And a couple of other national seeds on the ropes with Texas A&M just losing to Liberty. Texas A&M, the 1 seed, lost 8-5. A come-from-behind victory for Liberty, a huge win for them in the College Station Regional.
That's
and then,
the number 1 seed going down.
Yeah, and then Clemson and Northwestern, last I checked, were in 9 innings. Clemson went up 1-0 against Northwestern. See if that, or Clemson being the national seed, but going deep into extra innings against Northwestern.
Coffey takes the 3-1 in the left, down for a base hit. Bases are loaded again in the second. So A&M will be playing for its season later on tonight, as LSU is here.
We knew there were going to be upsets. Parity has been the name of the game. Liberty, a team that made it to Super Regionals last year and were...
Dot Richardson working magic at Liberty. I remember when she took the job there. That in itself created a ton of buzz. A legend of the sport, of course, with an opportunity to take Liberty to heights never before seen. And with a win against the top overall seed, certainly they did that this afternoon in College Station. 0-1 count, Jalen Lassiter right on top of that.
Liberty almost made it to Supers last year. They faced Georgia and ended up losing, as Georgia would advance to Supers, but went...
It took a walk-off for Georgia.
Yes, that's right.
It all bleeds together.
It does. No, and I think the game felt so intense when I was watching it. It had that super regional vibe, and the fact that they also played Georgia 3 times that weekend. So again, felt like a super.
Well, we were talking in the car on the way over here today about McNeese a couple of years ago against Washington. And in my memory, it felt like McNeese had made it to the super regional. In fact, they didn't. They lost to Washington in the 7th game. But again, that was one of those games where an unseeded team was giving a national power a run for its money. So this has been brewing, Amanda, for years in this sport. And I think we're reaching a tipping point here in 2025 where the parity is so good. Shoot, we saw it in our regional yesterday with LSU going down. 2-2 here. Snared at third by Garcia. Throw home in time. They get the lead runner and the first out of the inning. Well played in the hot corner by Garcia.
Oh, these outs like this are so defeating. The past few innings, LSU has hit the ball on the nose going back to last night's game against Southeastern Louisiana, but defenses are just stepping up in making plays against them, particularly at third base. What a play by the captain, the senior, Rosie Garcia.
Strike one to Macy Bergeron. Trying to flip the script for LSU here in the 2nd inning. Her team 1 for 7 this weekend with the bases loaded.
And it's a win in itself for LSU's offense right now with the amount of pitches that they've made Peyton Kenny throw. I mean, she's only thrown 1 in a 3rd innings, and she's already thrown 52 pitches. That is a lot. Usually you want to average between 12 to 15 pitches in an inning.
Bergeron lays off the 0-2.
There's one side of the plate right now that Peyton Kenny is getting the strike call, being able to command, and that is the inner half to right-handed hitters, not getting the call outside to them.
Bergeron has had a remarkable season at the plate, a career year. Operates like a professional. In the words of her head coach, Beth Torina. Major moment here early in this elimination game.
Just feels like both of these teams, UConn and LSU, just need that one big swing to just break their offense open.
We've been waiting for that, haven't we?
For both teams.
2-2. Scorcher again off the bat of Bergeron.
And it's what Nebraska has done so well this weekend. They've had that one swing multiple times. It's why they're in the driver's seat in this regional, sitting with a 2-0 record, waiting to see who they're going to play, because their offense has been the one that has just continued to have the big swing by multiple different players stepping up.
Another visit to the circle by Heidi Barber. Is Peyton Kenny ever not loose?
I guess not. Probably looser today than she was in her first postseason game yesterday.
LSU started this tournament 4 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Remember, they jumped all over Southeastern Louisiana yesterday, 3-0. They have since gone 2 for 11. Major opportunity here to bust out of it in the 2nd inning against the Big East tournament champs. Full count with the bases loaded.
Peyton Kenny keeps wiping off of her hand on her uniform, on her palm, and the other side of her hand. It's really sweaty, trying to get a good grip. So humid here today. We'll smile, look at Barber before this pitch. Shook off to get to this next one.
The payoff from Kenny. Outside, and another run is walked home by Peyton Kenny.
She's just not getting this outside corner called. Goes on the outside corner with her rise ball, and she's just not getting that pitch called. LSU knows it. They've had good discipline on that side of the plate, and now Tori Edwards will come up again with another opportunity with the bases loaded.
Time called by Laura Valentino. Might we see a pitching change? G. Juarez is calling Heidi Barber over. And yes, we will. With the SEC Freshman of the Year due up with the bases loaded, Hope Jenkins will take over in the circle for you.
It is a loud out, had grand slam potential written all over it, but just going to go down as one RBI for Tori Edwards, who crushed that ball.
And Caitlin Kibling looks like she might have gotten a bug in her eye.
Well, and learning from Bryce Neal, the hitting coach at LSU, that light pull out in left center field you see there, anything to
Today was a bright spot for this UConn Huskies offense.
Yeah, showed off her home run power. A home run against Kylie McGee. That was a pitch up in the zone. Ooh, I like the home run celebration with the Huskies. Jonathan the Husky can't be here, and Bolin the Cow can't be here, so we settle for the stuffed animals instead.
I'm all for props.
Yeah.
1-2 count from Sydney Berzon. Gets a strikeout, her first of the game. One down in the second inning.
Being able to change speeds, going down into the zone with her drop ball. Maybe took a little bit off of that. You never know with Sydney Berzon, the way that she changes speeds left and right. That's what she does all throughout an at-bat. Knew growing up that she needed 3 speeds and not just to rely on 2, something that from a young age she picked up on and does very well. 54 miles an hour there.
Taking on Haley Kupal here. Berzon knocks it down and buries it in the dirt. Kupal will beat it out.
You know, there have been times that Sydney Berzon does not look super comfortable throwing to first base. Had a lot of time here. Great play by her just to knock it down and throw it right to the ground. Tori Edwards unable to pick it. It's a tough play for a first baseman with that type of in-between hop in the stretch.
And too far really there for Berzon to do anything underhand or maybe pitch.
The underhand.
Or is that what you would have done?
The underhand, likely, if she just would have gotten maybe to it a little bit quicker, kept her momentum, probably would have been the ideal thing to do there. And that's why you like the underhand more than the overhand, because that overhand throw is just more of, it's just an awkward distance. It's a tough touch to be able to make that throw to first base, and that's why that underhand toss feels a little bit more comfortable.
Has been in so many of these postseason moments already in her career. A junior from Buffalo, New York, 2-time All-American, one of 5 coached by Beth Torina at LSU. And now 2 outs in the second inning with a runner on, and Caitlin Kibling at the plate for UConn.
feeling that today is just going to be a wild day of upsets. I mean, with A&M, Arizona is down to Ole Miss right now. It's just the top of the second inning, but it's a Saturday. Georgia beat Duke.
Oregon trailing Stanford right now out west. Still early in that game, 2-0 in the second inning, but still.
And the teams are cut down in half after today. Start with 64, finish today with 32.
Mercer is thumping Georgia Tech right now in their first ever trip to the NCAA tournament. I feel like you, Aaron Miller, many on our air have been calling this all year, Amanda. Like, we're talking March, that this was going to be the craziest year yet in May. It has panned out that way.
It was coming. Just a lot of competitive games, a lot of strong teams, and I feel like too not as strong of pitching top to bottom. And when you leave it up to the offenses putting harder balls in plays, harder balls in play, it creates more errors and just more chaos on the base pass and defensive miscues and mistakes, leading to higher scoring games. And a pitcher's duel, you feel like you just have a little bit more control over what's going on. But with more offense, to me, comes more chaos, more crazy scores.
Full count to Kibling. Oh, just missed from Berzon, and that extends the inning. Second walk of the day issued by the LSU junior.
Yeah, first time through the order here. We're coming up on Barber, the 9-hole, coming up to the plate. But UConn has taken some really close pitches against Berzon. Looked very confident at the plate. This is an offense that shows a lot of fight. They have a big plan. They stick to.
Heidi Barber's first time through. The freshman from Minnesota batting in the 9-hole. Quickly 0-2 to the 4-sport athlete in high school. Basketball, golf, softball, and football for 2 years.
Taking, again, some close pitches. And all the different styles of pitches that Sydney Berzon is throwing. A drop ball there that they took, but they've taken some off-speed pitches as well that have been close.
Two count.
Great at bat to work this back to a full count.
Barber was down 0-2. She has only taken 27 at bats this year. Barber batting 148 in those for Texas A&M. 2-0 count here to Sierra Daniel. Hope Jenkins back in the circle, relieving Peyton Kinney. And we talked about this a little bit last night. You obviously had been at A&M as a seed, hosting a regional, playing out of the elimination bracket. Daniel is short, flipped to first by the freshman of the year, Pettis. One down. How difficult is that? And how do you overcome the disappointment of being a national seed, Amanda, and having to play with your season on the line?
It's challenging, but it can be done. I think it's the most stunning that A&M is just the second #1 seed to fail to start 2-0 and to make it to Sunday unbeaten. The other time was Cal back in 2012. But what it takes, and for these two teams alike on the field right here, you have to come together as a team. every single person in the dugout has to believe that the job can be done. If there is one bad seed, two bad seeds, it's not fully in it, that's thinking we can't do this, it's thinking, oh, what if this goes wrong? It's not going to be done. Everybody in the dugout and on the support staff, for that matter, has to believe that you're going to get the job done. And when the team comes together, it could be a turning point in the postseason to make a really great run after that. We lost the 1-0 game on Saturday my junior year. Ended up having to win later on Saturday and 2 games on Sunday, but that year we made it to the World Series. Ended up taking the long route, played 3 games in super regionals, but still made it to the Women's College World Series, which is the ultimate goal. And that was for the first time in 20 years at Texas A&M that we made it back to the World Series.
2 down in the 3rd. In your opinion, does A&M have the pitching to do something similar this year?
You know, I would be a little bit nervous if Sydney Peters didn't pitch last night for them. She hadn't pitched in honestly a couple of months, and she'd been a missing piece in their program, being injured. But seeing her pitch and knowing that they have her arm along with some others, I do think that they have a deep enough pitching staff to be able to come back. But Liberty
bobbled it first by Higa, and going to second is McKee. How about that aggressiveness on the base paths by the LSU DP?
Should go down as an error, and it's going to be a 2-base error by Higa. Ball bounces off of her glove. McKee is so good at base running. She's one of the fastest players on this team. Sees it down, just doesn't even hesitate.
That's big, because now LSU will bring their 9-hitter to the plate with the top of the lineup looming. And Danica Coffey already 2 for 2 today, standing on deck. Does LSU have the pitching depth to run the table this weekend and make it out of the Baton Rouge Regional?
Yeah, I think that they do too. Jaden Heavner and Sydney Berzon kind of being the co-aces on their staff, and then you have Ashley Vallejo, who we have not seen but has postseason experience and is well rested alongside Tatum Clopton. Deep staff there. UConn more so relies on Jenkins and Kinney, who started this game.
Tigers would like to get some more runs here in this inning, albeit with 2 outs. They are just 2 for their last 12 with runners in scoring position.
The wind, Matt, is just continuing to pick up, and it now is going to left field, but it was just, I mean, right before we showed it, blowing straight in. Well, just like Morgan and Avery. And the family comes to all the home games. They went to the Big East tournament. Sometimes they have ice cream parties with them, but just a real inspiration. When we talked to Grace Jenkins about what Avery means to this program, she said she's just a reminder that when you see those little girls after the game, they could care less if you go 0 for 4 or 4 for 4. Just being able to be around them and their joy, and as Coach Valentino says, she loves when they smile with teeth. Seeing Avery do that with this team and bring joy. See Coach Valentino smile with teeth a lot.
An enthusiastic and infectious personality at the head of this UConn program. Maybe that's why her team is always so loose every time we see them. 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd. She too, Amanda, has a heart for those with special needs. A cause that's near and dear to her heart. And the program, of course, particularly with the Jenkins sisters, and the way they've embraced the Armstrong family, the way the Armstrong family has influenced this UConn program. It's a beautiful story, and to see it culminate here in Baton Rouge with the program's first trip to the NCAA tournament in 24 years. And some of the Armstrong family getting to be here. Wow. What a cool moment for Laura Valentino and her program, as well as the Armstrongs.
It's a long way from UConn to get down here to Baton Rouge. And Laura Valentino helped start the program at Duke in 2018. So Duke being a newer program that made it to the Women's College World Series for the first time last year. She helped start that program with Marissa Young, coached at Fairfield and Charlotte before Duke. Fairfield, as you mentioned, was where she got her master's in special education.
Two-two count to Grace Jenkins. Goes down swinging. And 2 down in the third.
This is a big deal right here. Second time through the order, and Berzon got back-to-back strikeouts of Hastings and then Jenkins. That's 2 Big East Players of the Year. Got on the same pitch, that off-speed rise ball that she will throw. It's a great start, second time through the order.
Check swing and the appeal to first. Christina Drum did not say that Kaya Higa went around. If you're unfamiliar with UConn softball, this 3-run deficit is not anything that they would blink at. It's a team that led the Big East all year in offense in every meaningful statistical category. They scored 18 runs in the Big East Tournament Championship game against Creighton, as Higa pushes it through to the left side and a 2-out base knock.
Yeah, they can score a lot fast because they have that home run power, 77 home runs. And when you have that pop, you can have a tendency to have some big innings. They've had 18 innings with 5 or more runs scored. It happened 4 times recently in the Big East tournament.
They outscored their 3 Big East tournament opponents 35-9. This is an explosive offense that we've sort of just been waiting to come out a little bit in this tournament. Saw it a little bit with Kat Pettis' home run yesterday against Nebraska, but it was not enough against the Huskers offense that has steamrolled through its first 2 wins in this regional. I think that dugout's ready to explode.
And with that home run power, about 36% of the runs scored have been via the long ball.
Garcia, a back-to-back all Big East first teamer in her final 2 seasons on campus. Ahead in the count 3-1 against Sydney Berzon with 2 down. And the potential game-tying run on deck in Kat Pettis. Full count. Currently in the driver's seat with a 3-run lead here in the top of the 4th. And the top of the LSU Tiger lineup at the plate in Danica Coffey.
I think the goal is just to continue to get on base and get more runs here. Good place to start with Danica Coffey leading off. LSU has got their leadoff hitter on in 2 of the 3 innings that they've had.
Two from Hope Jenkins. Just missed, and a full count to Coffey.
I hope Jenkins has done a good job of relieving Peyton Kenny too and kind of settling things down. just done a great job of just competing as the wind blows. The fake wigs there with the yellow and the purple. Good look.
Up the middle, and a 3-hit day for Danica Coffey.
I especially think of the seniors on a day like this, where every game that they play moving forward this weekend, no matter which team, UConn, LSU, is potentially their last game. And is it going to be a senior who presses a little bit, knowing that it might be their last game, or are they going to step up? And Danica Coffey has stepped up as the leadoff hitter for LSU.
Coffey has wheels, 8 stolen bags in 10 attempts this year entering the tournament. Will she test the backup catcher Heidi Barber? (2-0 to Lassiter. Strike one. Lassiter sends the 2-1 down the line and left, shielding the sun. Hastings makes the play, 1 out. And made in foul territory by Higa, 2 down. When everyone comes calling, you got to listen, even if LSU's in your backyard, right? Speaking of everyone coming calling, that was the case for Tori Edwards. She has been as good as they come as a freshman and a top 10 finalist for National Freshman of the Year.
Remember, she missed last season due to an injury, so she ended up redshirting. And she came into this program really strong, but continues to get stronger. Her dad is a strength and conditioning coach, so she started lifting weights when she was about in 7th grade, just getting the proper form, starting out light, but that proper form has led her to be one of the strongest female athletes on campus. 405-pound deadlift, an LSU record. Look at her teammates celebrate her. That strength pays off in terms of her power and her speed. And she said her dad has helped her a lot, not only with the strength, but speed too, which is a big part of her game. She calls it hidden speed, and a lot of people don't expect it, but her dad has helped her a lot be both strong and fast.
Whose Nebraska Cornhuskers are likely sitting with their feet up in the air conditioning, enjoying a nice meal, waiting to see who they might face in the regional championship tomorrow.
Hopefully eating some ice cream. I think that's what I would be doing.
Ice
Staying
cream?
cool. Yeah, why not? It's early off in the day. Get some ice cream, cool down, and have some dinner. Sounds good to me.
Go-to flavor?
I would probably get chocolate or chocolate chip cookie dough. What would you get?
Wow. The latter sounds pretty good right about now. 1-2 to the right side, fielded by Edwards, 2 away. Anything with chocolate in it,
And
I'm game.
totally in.
Plus, they're celebrating a birthday. Lori Sipple turned 60 yesterday. That's a big day, big birthday. Cause for celebration for more reasons than one for Nebraska. Entering Sunday 2-0 after taking down UConn yesterday and then Southeastern Louisiana today. Meanwhile, 2 down for Caitlin Breslin. And Beth Torina out of the dugout. Wondering what's going on with Macy Badgeron, who's feeling her right arm a little bit. Boy, she has gotten banged up multiple times throughout this year. Came into the tournament with a couple of bruises, she said. One the size of a softball on her inner thigh from a foul ball she took off the end of a bat at the SEC tournament. I didn't catch live what might have caused her to feel some discomfort in her throwing arm, but looks to be fine and will continue playing with a 1-0 count to Caitlin Breslin. Charging in from second. You look at who they faced at the end of the regular season: Florida, Arkansas, Texas A&M, Texas, and then Oklahoma and Mississippi State in the NCAA tournament. But really all year, Amanda, this is a team that has been known for scoring early. 55% of their runs scored in the first 3 innings of games this year. And it felt to me like, listening to the post-game press conference last night, Beth Torina was challenging their program, staff included, to execute the game plan better all the way through, all 7 innings.
Well, it's just so much about finishing, and teams aren't going to go away from here moving forward. They're going to continue to fight. You don't want your season to end. You know that your season rides on it. You have goals. Everybody has these goals at the beginning of the year, and they think that you as a competition, you're standing in the way of our goals. They're going to continue to fight until the end. That's why it's so important to be able just to continue to put pressure on a team, not just in the beginning of the game, but toward the end of the game as well.
There is a trend developing in this regional for this offense. You look at yesterday, they faced Macy LaRue, the top pitcher for Southeastern Louisiana. They went 7 for 14, scoring those 3 runs over the first 3 innings. Lainey Bailey comes in. LSU bats go quiet, 0 for 13 to end the game against Bailey. As this is shot into left field, and a base knock for Sierra Daniel. And that is the first hit of the day against the reliever, Jenkins.
And to your point, they had 4 hits off of Peyton Kenny, but it had gone 0 for 10 off of Jenkins before that hit right there. Making in-game adjustments once you face a new pitcher, and Sierra Daniel just continues to stay hot. Now LSU is 1 for 25 against relief pitchers that they faced in this regional.
What's behind that in your mind, if you had to pinpoint?
It's just a lack of adjustments from everybody. To me, it's just a mindset of it being able to adjust. Your mindset, something with your swing, where you're staying in the box, a place where you're looking at the ball. All these pitchers have different strengths, and so you prepare for that starting pitcher and have a plan of attack, but you have to be able to counter it with the next adjustment that you're going to make offensively. And really, it just takes one person to do it, and then it's contagious. But at the same time, making outs can be contagious as well.
It's not as if this offense has been quiet this year. You think about the season they've had. They too are in the midst of a record-breaking season offensively. Highest batting average in program history, highest on base percentage, 3rd most runs scored. And compared to last season, it is night and day for the LSU Tigers, with Bryce Neal taking over coming into this season as the lead hitting coach. 1-2 to McKee, up the middle into center. First to third goes Daniel, and runners at the corners with 2 outs in the 5th.
That's what I mean, that it's contagious. Sierra Daniel goes up and she gets a hit, and then now Maddox McKee goes up and drives the ball as well. These line drive swings, more flatter swings on pitches up in the ball that allow LSU to be better on rise balls this year. They flatten out their swing, working with Bryce Neal, their hitting coach this year. More database-driven approach, pushes the envelope. Bryce Neal is super innovative. And he's done a good job of identifying their strengths and making the most of each of these hitters' strengths in the lineup.
Now he's going to come out and talk with Avery Hodge after time was called behind the plate by Heidi Barber. The Women's College World Series returns to Oklahoma City. Action begins Thursday, May 29th at 12 p.m. Eastern, live on ESPN. For more information on the 2025 Women's College World Series, you can go to NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships.
Something that this LSU offense wanted to do this year with Bryce Neal, like we talked about, but lowering their ball flight, flatter attack angles, and being able to produce at the top of the zone against rise balls, knowing that they see so many rise ball pitchers in SEC play. Felt like they've done a better job at handling the top of the zone, and it's caused pitchers to give them more drop balls in their SEC series.
Look at this huddle up here. I mean, we've got everybody involved in the action. 4 coaches, 4 players. This is a big moment in this game, Amanda. LSU trying to keep the foot on the gas against an offense in UConn that has been elite this year. Not only in the Big East Conference, but in the country. 2 on, 2 out for Avery Hodge in the 9 spot. And Maddox McKee will take second base without a throw. Should Hodge get on, the top of the LSU order awaits. And it has been a 3-for-3 day for their leadoff, Danica Coffey, who is on deck. Hodge to
going to her veteran pitcher in this elimination game to start out Saturday.
And they felt really good about her start against Oklahoma. Went 6 innings, allowed 4 earned runs on 5 hits, did have those 5 walks. But more than the stat line, Amanda, Beth Torina felt like they called a better game for her. Going to pitches that maybe she felt more comfortable with in the moment, given what she's battled through this season. But the break was really good for her. After an early exit in the SEC tournament, they had almost 10 days without a game. Light practice entering the regional round. And given the way it's shaken out so far, you know Berzon's going to be called upon at least another time in this regional, maybe 2 more times, if LSU is going to get out and get to the Super.
Well, and she faced tougher competition too at the end of SEC play. The SEC schedule is just a grind for anybody, but looking back and seeing the seeding come out, it was like they played everybody in the top 8 to end the season. And selection show came around. I mean, it was Texas A&M and then Texas, Florida, Arkansas played OU in the SEC tournament, as well as Mississippi State. That was a ranked opponent.
Today she has held UConn to just 2 hits. A Huskies team that was red hot coming into the regional has hit just 158 against Nebraska and LSU. And don't you feel, Amanda, that she has just looked so much more comfortable and in command? Second and now 3rd time through against UConn.
only gave up 1 hit that second time through. Just has gotten better as the game has gone on. 1 strikeout first time through, 3 strikeouts second time through, and including 3 strikeouts to the top 4 hitters. It just makes you wonder if LSU is able to hold on to this lead. Will it be Jade Huebner again that starts against Southeastern Louisiana, who just saw her last night? That's why we're unsure who was going to pitch this elimination game here today for LSU because of that.
Lexi Hastings with elite speed beats that out on a dinker to Sierra Daniel, and so the inning continues. Just the 3rd hit of this game, and the 2nd not to leave the infield.
Number 17, Grace Jenkins.
So it's the Big East Player of the Year. Grace Jenkins, right, left side, backhanded deep in the hole by Hodge, and it's back-to-back singles with 2 outs for the Huskies.
Being able to use the ground. Both players, Hastings and Jenkins, struck out in their last at bat. Now coming up and using the ground, using what Sydney Brazan is giving them. This is a big moment in this game. 2 runners on base, 1 swing away from tying it up.
Higa is that tying run at the plate. Back-to-back infield singles with 2 outs. First time UConn has tallied consecutive hits since the 4th inning against Nebraska yesterday. 1-1 to Kaea Higa. Higa began her career a native of Washington over at Oregon State. Spent 2 years with the Beavers. Had a reduced role last year after she was Pac-12 All-Freshman in 2023. This year has been on a tear for UConn. And entering the tournament was 6 for her last 14 with a homer and 5 runs batted in. Hitters count.
Pulling the string, I would go to that pitch again. Maybe move it a half ball more outside. I would go right back to that pitch. Nebraska.
Nobody has looked close against Nebraska so far in this tournament. Now they've yet to play LSU. We thought that might be a possibility today, of course, before LSU lost to Southeastern last night. Southeastern awaiting their eventual opponent. Had the historic win last night against LSU, first time beating a national seed. Second time ever in the NCAA tournament. They have a winning record. All 3 wins coming against power conference opponents. Coffee does not have a 4 for 4 day. Lexi Hastings making a diving catch.
Lexi Hastings, another one of those seniors doing whatever it takes to not have her season end here. Defensively, so quick, great read on a challenging line drive hit at her. Danica Coffey has swung the bat well in this game. A senior hitting it right at a senior.
One down in the 6th for Jayla Lassiter. That will find the outfield grass. First hit of the game for Lassiter.
Starting to see the ball better out of the hand of Hope Jenkins. I feel like that last inning with a couple of hits didn't produce a run, but bottom of the order with Daniel and McKee swinging the bat well. Danica Coffey also had a hit off of Hope Jenkins earlier in this game. And that hard line drive to left field that was caught.
Catcher, Lacey Bergeron.
Bergeron to third. Garcia bobbling, no play at either bag. And Lassiter moves into scoring position.
It's third error of the game for UConn. Likely had a lot of spin on it, hit off the end of the bat. Trying to read that last hop. You saw that last hop kind of jump up. Handcuff Rosie Garcia.
G. Juarez out of the dugout with Tori Edwards at the plate, and wouldn't you know it, a runner in scoring position for Tori Edwards, which has been a theme in this tournament for LSU. Four times she has come to the plate with RISP, and many more times with runners on. And they are not even going to mess with the SEC Freshman of the Year.
And Rudity on deck, not really squared the ball up well in this game, 0 for 3.
What an opportunity for Mackenzie Rudity. Bases loaded, less than 2 outs. For the third inning in this game, LSU will have ducks on the pond. And they've been as good as anyone in Division I with the bases loaded. But we're going to have a pitching change, and it's going to be Peyton Kinney, who started the game and twice had the bases loaded against her, who will come back in here to face Mackenzie Rudity.
Pitching change for UConn, returning to the circle, 0-0, Peyton Kinney. Kinney back in the circle for the Huskies.
Peyton Kinney, Amanda, has struggled with her accuracy in this tournament. Multiple walks yesterday, multiple walks through just an inning and a third today. You surprised to see Laura Valentino going to her with the bases loaded?
Yeah, I'm surprised to see her make this move. Has to be a reason for it, liking the rise ball matchup against Rudity versus she had already seen Hope Jenkins in 2 at-bats, had only seen Kinney in her first at-bat, but did struggle to find the strike zone. And it's going to be up to Rudity to make her bring her rise ball down the zone. And these moments where Rudity, another senior playing in this game for LSU, a consistent 4-year starter for LSU, has a lot of experience. So being able to channel your mindset to be the one to want to get the hit with the bases loaded, really break this thing open, but also sticking to your game plan and showing discipline against a pitcher like Kinney who struggles to find the zone.
Here we go from Matt Dial after the review. For no apparent reason, really, but now we're going to play again. 85 pitches in the game for her starter, Sydney Berzon, who has looked sharper as the game has worn along. UConn would love to string some things together to get it back to the top of the order. Rosie Garcia bats in the 4 spot. but their most success has come 1 through 3 today. Hodge, a long throw, makes it on a scoop at first by Tori Edwards. That connection today has been elite.
Avery Hodge can cover a lot of ground, and it's why Beth Trina wanted to pick her up out of the transfer portal, knowing that she would have a strong defender at shortstop to slide into that spot after Taylor Pleasance graduated last year.
Strike one to Kat Pettis.
How cool is it that Kat Pettis' mom was a college softball coach? A lot of different levels, a lot of different states. They lived in Pennsylvania and North Carolina.
Mom Jennifer was the head coach at York College and then became a hitting coach and taught Kat Pettis everything she knows. Big East Freshman of the Year, grounds out, 2 down.
And you can tell she's a player. A lot of good things in store for Kat Pettis as she moves forward in her career. Both defensively, offensively, she is a player growing up as a coach's kid, you can tell.
Told us it's the first year that her mom's not coaching, so she gets to watch all of Kat Pettis' games.
So cool.
Haley Kupal with 2 down and the base is empty. 4 outs left for UConn.
Cindy Berzon with a couple of quick outs and soft contact there to be able to try to cut down the amount of outs that are left with that 3-run lead. Again, it's so weird, man, how this has happened, but LSU scores 3 runs, and the Stanford offense has been one of the best in the country.
One to Sierra Daniel, leading things off for LSU against Peyton Kinney. Daniel faced her once at the beginning of this game, struck out swinging. It was Kinney's lone strikeout of the game. Then Hope Jenkins came in for a handful of innings. Now Kinney is back. Pitching with a 3-run deficit and trying to keep it that way with her 7, 8, and 9 hitters due up in the bottom of the 7th. Very expressive in the circle.
Yeah, and more expressive today. I think a little bit more comfortable than what we saw her in yesterday's game. That's when she is pitching her best, when she is that expressive self, more external than some other pitchers might be.
Garcia backing up on it, slings it to first in time, 1 away. Potentially playing in her final collegiate game, Garcia, a 4-year starter in the hot corner, somebody that has helped rebuild the championship culture at UConn, helping them reach their first NCAA tournament since 2001.
This senior class is a lot to be proud of for UConn, with getting them back into the NCAA tournament, creating this culture of grit and resilience and competitiveness, and just setting a new standard.
Fly ball shallow left. Hastings calling everyone off. 2 down.
Of course, Hastings being a big part of that senior class as well out in left field. We've seen her just in her career be a fantastic player, but the defensive plays in this game and as well using her speed offensively, leadoff hitter for UConn.
Two down for Maddox McKee. Winner advances to take on Southeastern. McKee shoots it up the middle. And she will try to stretch it to 2, but cannot on another bang-bang relay from center field.
McKee has been on a tear offensively, really stroking the ball well, drives it right back up the middle of the field. And Kibling, you got to be on your toes with McKee running. Trying to stretch that into a double, and they play it well. She is just so aggressive. Slight hesitation there that may have been the difference between her being safe and out.
We saw a
yes, 100% she's safe.
Swing of emotions for Peyton Kinney and her UConn Huskies. They thought they had a inning-ending out at second base on an excellent throw in by Caitlin Kibling. Instead, a double with 2 outs for Maddox McKee.
New batter for the Tigers, now to the plate for 22, Madison Manning.
And now Madison Manning will make her first plate appearance of the 2025 NCAA tournament. Pinch hitting for Avery Hodge in the 9 spot.
Maddox McKee is a great tone setter, though, in the sense that LSU likes to be aggressive, likes to push the envelope when it comes to running bases, taking extra bases, and I do feel like in this regional that little bit of aggressiveness and the strength of their offense has been missing, but that could be a big spark setting them up for the rest of this day, because they're going to face, likely if they go on to get these last 3 outs, they're going to face an offense in southeastern Louisiana who plays a similar level of aggressiveness on the base pass.
Be interesting to see on a ball into the outfield. Will Beth Tarina test this UConn defense? Won't see it here. Garcia diving, cannot make the play. Kept it in the infield though, and so McKee stays at third base, advancing up from second.
As soon as Rosie Garcia dives, this play is going to be over because of a slow developing play. She dives. There's just not going to be a throw for her available. See Maddox McKee run around Rosie Garcia, got a good read. Maybe if that ball goes to Kat Pettis, but just well placed on the left side to be able to turn that to a single, and now 2 on for LSU.
And now Danica Coffey, who's enjoyed a 3-hit day, 2 of those coming against Peyton Kinney in the first 2 innings, will come to the plate with insurance 60 feet away.
Peyton Kenny again, just staying loose here. And Danica Coffey has had a great day at the plate. 3 for 4, but easily could have been 4 for 4 because Lexi Hastings made a great play in left field.
Avery Hodge re-enters the game over at first base after the pinch hit by Madison Manning. One more chance for LSU here. After the overturned call at second, McKee now at third. And ball 1 to Danica Coffey. All 3 of LSU's runs in this game coming in the first 2 innings. They have been quiet since.
They've had a runner at third base in each of the last 3 innings.
Avery Hodge takes second without a throw.
11 left on base for LSU in this game.
And 20 this weekend. Now, Coach Valentino out of the UConn dugout wants a word with J.C. Bartley, our home plate umpire, who will bring his crew together. And I believe there's going to be a challenge here about the runner leaving early at first. That's Hodge.
Call on the field is that the runner left on time at first base. UConn is challenging the runner left early on the pitch.
It's so funny. I feel like this really didn't get challenged that much this year in the regular season, and now it's like coaches are pulling this tool out of their toolbox here in the postseason, trying to do the
seasons are on the line.
Trying to do the gotcha call. We really didn't see it that much. I'd almost like forgotten about it, but we saw it more the year before in 2023 with the rule change, and she left on time, so this is going to stand. We saw it so much. Let's see, actually that was last year. We saw it so much in 2024. And they had brought being able to challenge leaving early into the reviews that are possible to look at. And that was just a mess.
I mean, I feel like anytime a new rule is instituted and coaches are able to utilize it, we're going to see it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully, that has tapered off substantially this year, and that was a quick review. Here is Matt Dial.
After further review, the call on the field has been upheld. Runner left on time.
So a 2-0 count with 2 outs for Danica Coffey. She has never before in her career produced a 4-hit game. Chance to do so here with 3 singles in this all-important elimination game for both teams. Instead, a walk on 4 pitches. Loading the bases for Jayla Lassiter.
Out of play for the Tigers, center fielder number 7, Jayla Lassiter.
Lassiter into left. There is Hastings, and again